Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ayopeju Falekulo. Today we're going to continue our talk about handwriting and what we need to be doing with our children, obviously. What I would like to do is talk about the mechanical side of things actually today, and then we can take it from there. So when I talk about the mechanical side of things, I am referring to everything physical to do with our children learning to write. And if we are going to take it from the very beginning, one of the most important things that we need to do is to prepare the hands of the child to write. There has been a lot of discussion about children being made to write as early as 18 months. They get into a school setting, whether it's a creche or it's preschool. And before you know what is happening, there's pen, paper, pencil or paper, crayon, and the child is being made to write 1, 2, 3. There's nothing wrong with the child scribbling, but when you make them put marks on the paper, and there's specific marks that have meanings that the children don't know, and you're enforcing and insisting that they have to learn how to do these shapes, and these are the first things that the children are putting on paper, it is wrong. What we need to do instead is to prepare the hands of the child for writing. Let's be realistic. How many of us actually do write? Writing is a good thing to do, but what we've found over the years is with the advent of technology, the computer, laptops, tablets, most of us do not use our hands with our pencils and pens, with paper, notebooks. We don't use this form of writing that much anyway. But I'm not advocating that we should not teach our children how to write. All I'm saying is that we need to be realistic. We are not actually using our hands for handwriting purposes. Now, even if we are not, and our children end up growing up to just using the tablet, using computers and laptops to write down whatever it is they want to communicate. The important thing is that their hands must be strong for the work that they are going to do. That is the most important thing, because if their hands are not strong for the job at hand, then they are still going to struggle just like we struggled, whether it is typing or handwriting. Now let's get back to the fact of handwriting, because we are in Nigeria, at least most of us are listening in from Nigeria, and we do use our pens and pencils. Even children in the Western world, they're still expected to use their pencils and pens on paper to write. Okay, so they need strength. Strengthening their hands is important. One thing I would say to parents especially is, please do not spoil your children. Children watch us and they want to do what we do. When we say we don't want our children to suffer the way that we suffered, and therefore they cannot feed themselves, they cannot wash their clothes, they cannot keep their rooms tidy or clean, they don't clean after themselves. Hey, what are we doing? One thing that I do realize is that no matter how rich you think you are, no matter how mighty you are, who follows you to the toilet to clean your bum? Think about that. Even the richest people in the world will find it very undignified to allow somebody to follow them to the toilet to clean their bum because they are so rich, they don't want to do anything. There are things that you have to do for yourself. So please don't spoil these children. It is our fault if they can't do things. It's not their fault. And when they grow up to be teenagers and they're not doing what we want them to do, then we get angry with them. We should not be doing this. So anyway, let me get back to the main point, because I don't want to take up too much of our time today. But we need to look at the mechanical side of things, the physical side of things. I have written out a list of things that you could do with the child in order to be able to get them to use their pincer grip, which is what they're going to be needing mostly when they're writing with a pen or with a pencil. It's basically the ability for the child to be able to pick up a pen and control it, a pen or pencil, control it with their 2 fingers, 4 fingers, and then they will use the 3rd one to keep it steady. That is what that is what the pincer grip is. Just being able to use your 2 fingers, the thumb and the first index finger, and then the second one to hold the pencil steady so that they can write. They need that grip. They need strength, because it is painful and very tiring if you do not have strength to do the work. So you need to build up their gross motor skills as well as their fine motor skills in order to be able to get the children where they need to be. Also, the child needs to be able to sit properly. Watch what they're doing. Are their feet stationed on the ground? Are they sitting upright? Where is the paper in relationship to how the child is sitting? I will get some pictures and put them up in the group so that we will see all these things in action. But you know what? There is much more to the physical, mechanical side of writing than just being able to hold your pencil right and sit upright. There's much more to it. There are some other things that you need to be aware of. For example, where does the letter formation start from? Let's say that they're writing an A. Where do they start from? If they're writing a B, where do they start from? If they're writing a C, where do they start from? If the letter formation is just done either one way or the other and no proper attention is paid to that, there will be problems down the line when the children try and learn how to join these letters together. There is an easier way if they learn the correct letter formation. So it is important for the teachers to know what the letter formations are and where they start from. It's not so much an important point that they're doing cursive or they're doing printed letter formations, although this is something that you have to decide. I prefer print. I prefer print mainly because most of what the children are going to be reading and working with is in print. That's all. But there's no right or wrong answer as to whether you use cursive or you use print. Okay, so you think through what is best for your school, do what is best for you, what you believe in, but stick to it. Because I have seen situations where people start off with cursive, pick print, then do cursive again. The children get confused. Stick to your guns. Choose one and stick to it, because we don't want our children to get confused over this issue. So that is it's a very important thing that you need to sit down and consider. What are we going to use? Are we going to use cursive for teaching children their handwriting? Are we going to use, what's it called? Are we going to use print? Decide and use whatever. Also, another practical thing that you need to have in mind is, are we actually going to be looking at the letters? Are we going to be using the capital letters or are we going to be using small letters? I prefer small letters. Why? Because most of the things that the children are reading are in small letters. Hi, hello everybody. I can see that a couple of us have joined us. Sorry, I didn't notice beforehand. Okay, so we are looking at the letters. Are we going to use capital letters? Are we going to use the small letters? as I said, I prefer small letters. The only reason being that when you look at a page of either handwritten script or a printed page, you would find out that most of the letters that you find are written in, they're printed there in small letters. They're not the capital letters. Capital letters, yes, for names of towns, places, at the beginning of the sentence, yes. But all the other letters are small letters. So I prefer to start with small letters. Is there a right answer or a wrong answer here? Hey, I am not insisting that we need to use I'm not insisting that we need to use small letters. But what I'm saying is once you have decided what you are going to use, keep to it. Stop confusing these children. These are mechanical things that we have to take into consideration, because if we don't do that, the children now get very confused. Practice makes perfect. So you start off with just allowing the children to use their hands, use their fingers. That's why in the Montessori setting, in practical life exercises is so important, because we're looking at the end product. We're looking at what we want to achieve, apart from the fact that our children are happier because they are learning how to do things that they see mommy and daddy doing. Sorry, I've just come out from doing some errand, and I quickly came to come and do this because I know that something else is going to come up and I may not be able to get back to doing this until much later. So I am sweating, I am a bit tired, but we are talking about this today. So it's absolutely important for us to make sure that our children are ready. Their hands are prepared for the job at hand. They love watching us do things, and they will do what we do. So if parents are not writing, our children will not be writing. So please, even though I know that the tablet, laptop, computer has taken over our lives, and most of us do our writing mechanically now on the tablet or on our laptops. For the sake of our children, let us do some handwriting, like making lists of things that you're going to do, like having a to-do list for the week for the two of you, you and your child, and you handwrite it, just so that your child can see that mommy writes things down as well. Daddy too writes. They need that, because if we are insisting that the children should write and all of us are just chatting away on our phones, clicking away, we are not modeling the right thing for them, and their hands will never be strong for the work at hand. I will end with this. Some of us are concerned about our children not writing, yet the same child that we're complaining is not writing cannot feed themselves. I have seen it, so I know that it does happen. That is wrong. You cannot be insisting that a child writes when the child cannot feed themselves. Did you realize that it's more or less the same kind of grip that the child needs to hold that spoon or to hold the fork that they need to put into their mouth? Is the same kind of grip that they need, that they are going to use to write something down, to hold their pencil to write something. So if your child cannot feed themselves, please concentrate on that first. Concentrate on that first. That is the most important thing. Not that you now come to the school and start giving parents, start giving your teachers problems, telling them off that the child is not writing when the child cannot feed themselves. That this is a big thing. There are a lot of parents that do this, and it's not right. So please, let us put the things in order. Realize what is most important. Make sure that our children are using their hands. Make sure that their fingers are strong, that they have a pincer grip. That's why we use knobbed cylinders. That is why we use most of our puzzles. They're knobbed in the Montessori setting so that the child can have more than enough practice in using their pincer grip. So that is what I have for you today. Those are the main things that you need to think about. So it is much more than just the pincer grip. It is much more than, are they sitting down correctly? There are other things that you need to be looking at as well. What letters are we going to use? Capital, small. What kind of writing style are we using? Printed, cursive. All these things are very important. What is the letter formation? Do your teachers know? We spend time going for Nelson handwriting and whatever handwriting. I don't have anything against it. But the problem is that you cannot expect the children to learn how to do Nelson handwriting within a day just because the teacher did it. How long has the teacher been writing? How old is your teacher? How old is the child? So those are the things we need to consider. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on and watching. If you have any questions, please do ask. Any comments, I'll really be happy to hear from you. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.